Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Perseus Conversations, where we are revisiting with a previous guest, Chris Radnedge, someone who I always recommend if you want to do internal martial arts, you want to do Qigong, go see what Chris is up to. And he's a healer, plus so many things. So the full background on Chris, I'll link to the previous conversation we had where we went more into his background. Okay, so you want to know all about the background, go to that link, which is down below. But for today, we're going to go on to new ground, and I'll bring Chris on, and let's begin. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, James. Wonderful to see you again, mate. Awesome
to have you here. Now, you're on holiday, so thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no, I'm in paradise here. A wonderful friend of mine has let me stay at his place, and his place his clinic too is a Chinese medicine practitioner. So the place smells like Chinese herbs. I just love it. I had the best sleep ever here. And
brilliant! You got like dipped that oil, liniment smell everywhere.
The stuff that was happening inside my body in meditation this morning. Just I love it. I love it.
Awesome to see you, Chris. Well, thank you for joining us. And I mean, last time we covered a lot of the Kungfu, which I still want to kind of cover and look at. But really, I saw that your courses have been building up. The courses that you've got, and you've now got the is it the 45-day standing meditation?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you want to just give us an introduction to all of what your offerings at the moment, because these are really valuable. I think this is real deal training. You're not going to find this. You might find the exterior of things, but you're not going to find the details that Chris offers. So take it away, Chris. What is on offer?
Yeah, so I've built 5 courses, and over the next 5 years, I'm aiming to get out at least another 12 courses. If I'm working, my clinic is very busy, so it takes away sort of my time for my building of those courses. So I'm just getting them out as I can with my clinic. But yeah, if I could film as I would like to, I'd probably film 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for probably the next 2 years, and then get out all the content out. It's a heart calling. I really want to get out that stuff to the world, and if I die straight after, then it's been worthwhile. that's one of the things. So I found what I've learned in my life extremely beneficial for my body, for my health, my psychology, my purpose, and people seem to enjoy it and get helped by it. That's the main thing. So it's part of my Dharma practice too. So when I teach, I don't hold stuff back. I don't half-ass teach stuff at all. And if I don't fully understand it, I don't teach it. So I know internal training can go wrong. I've had that happen myself too. So in my courses, I teach things that aren't dangerous, that don't cause problems with people. They prevent problems. And people have contact with me too if they want to talk about some things or more guidance. They have access to me. But currently, there's 5 courses developed, and those 5 courses are released in 2 packages or 2 bundles. So the reason being, those courses, they're all support the initial course, and if I was to sell them separately, it kind of wouldn't make sense. I don't want people to have issues with it because there's certain parts of the training that is implied or in other parts of the course, like in another course that's intimately connected with that course that they're doing,
like a proper traditional training. Yeah.
So the exercises that I've been taught is like some of them is like, if you were to do that one exercise, you have massive problems because it's meant to be supported by at least one other exercise to prepare the body, another exercise to release the energy after doing it. So just seeing one exercise doesn't really help. It actually can make things really worse. And beyond that, you don't have the intimate understanding of what's actually going on inside too. So I teach I articulate as much as I can, and people tell me you articulate the teaching in such a way that it can be learnt online. So I hear that all the time, and I just teach how I think and how I've come to know that it's beneficial for people. So the first course I released was 2023, was the 25 Lessons of Kung Fu, the Dragon and Tiger series. So that had a lot of content to do with biomechanics, open and close of the abdomen, the chest, stabilizing the head so you don't get head problems like headaches from reverberation. As power builds, if your head's not held properly, you get this force that comes up through the
This
spine
is
and it
so
affects your head.
not a lot is covered on that, because people do get problems in the neck, in like you say, in the trapezius, and you'll see good guys and they've got problems here because there's the gate, right? The J pillow.
The J gates. Yeah. So you get that reverberation coming from muscular problems. If there's a internal compression problem coming from not storing the intra-abdominal pressure properly, it goes into intrathoracic pressure, puts pressure on the heart. And if it goes up into the head, the intracranial pressure, like I know this from my physiotherapy training, the pressure in the skull's very, very doesn't take much to throw that out. So it should be 10 to 12 milligrams of mercury of the pressure. And people who have got pressure, they're in hospital if they've got 15 milligrams of pressure in there. So if you're doing internal training where it's gradually either energy is coming up and then it's coming up as increased pressure in the head, you're going to get major issues like hallucinations and visual problems.
Hallucinations as well.
Yeah, that's like the minimum part, and like the worst thing that happen, you can have a stroke or an aneurysm, and you die, or the vessel gets massively damaged in this life. So that's the worst things that can happen. And the Taoist masters, they were doing all sorts of breathing practices, movement practices, drinking mercury, all sorts of stuff to achieve immortality. And a lot of them died because they were doing practices that you practice this stuff all day for weeks, for days, for years on end. That's the problem. So if the practice isn't aligned properly to the body, then you have major health issues. You damage the vessel or you die. So there was trial and error masters who would have passed away doing certain practices, and then the people who were remaining, they go like, okay, let's not do that way. Let's tweak it.
Yes, because the curriculum is adjusted. Let's not do what Jimmy was doing. Yeah.
And it's a thing within the Chinese culture. They, a lot of my teachers have been Chinese, and they say there's something in the Chinese culture. There's such a strong affinity to longevity practices. So like the emperor would they're considered like a god. So they would say to the people, they couldn't stop themselves from dying or getting really sick, or the aging process couldn't stop that, even though they had this power. So they would say to people, go out and find out how to stop dying, how to stay young, and if you couldn't find the answer, get your head chopped off. So there's such a drive to understand these practices. That's why in that culture there's such a knowledge of how to keep the body young, how to achieve that immortality and like spiritual immortality, that kind of thing. So a lot of trial and error. People had a big drive to find these things out, and a lot of them were damaged by it or died doing different practices. So what I teach what I teach in my practice is it's all safe. That's the first thing I should add, that it's all safe.
You've done the testing. I might add as well, that first course as well, 25 lessons of Kung Fu. It sounds like, 25 lessons. Do I want to get that? It's not 25. It's way more than 25 lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It sounds like it might be just 25 segments, but it's like it's more like hundreds of.
Yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah.
So because I'm thankfully to Chris, I do some of that training, and I nip in there to check my form and to do that sort of stuff, and to my body mechanics. I really like Chris's approach, and there's so much in there. There really is so much in there. And I say that as someone who lives in Taiwan with access to different teachers. It's like to get the degree of depth that Chris has put in even that first course would take you years with a teacher doing it traditionally, turning up to the park with 30 other people trying to get some attention.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. That's what I wanted to bring across. Because I trained for I think 22 years before I released that course, and I released it to get over long COVID. That's what helped me majorly to get over long COVID, is what's in that course. That's why it's very, very beneficial to humanity at the moment. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get it out too. It took 22 years to have that clarity to teach what's in that, and then I made I released it. A lot of people jumped on board. Then there was sort of no more interest, and that's the nature of marketing and all that sort of stuff. I'm going, there's so much in this. It can't be just something that's just on the internet and it's not being accessed. So I go, how can I make people know what's in it in a quick way? So I made a 7-minute. It just happened to ended up being 7 minutes promo reel of what's in it, and it's just all the skill sets. So I think it's like 20 or 30 skill sets. So I just number in the promo so people get a sense of what's in it. Then the sort of sales kicked off more because people are going, oh, that's what it's about. That's what's in it. But that have that clarity of the use of the choir, spring load the choir, tuck into the feet, open and close of the chest, head aligned a certain way, move the choir, rotate, zone stack, all sorts of stuff. That took 22 years to have that clarity. So I wanted to put it in the course so people who are absolute beginners or have been practicing for decades, they have that knowledge right now, and then they can just keep opening things up inside, or just take it further.
Well,
That was
I mean, half of my training has been trying to work it out, not necessarily
exactly.
because once you've got the material, the going from where you're at to the fruit of that training is actually quite quick. But
yeah.
It's the understanding and getting it. So here you've got a way of getting it, and you've got the understanding.
Yeah, exactly. That I'm glad that come across. That was the aim. That's wonderful.
So after the 25, that first initial course, what's the next series of leading through the curriculum?
Yeah. So the 25 lessons of Kung Fu, the first course I released. Then I had some people asking some questions about things. There's like I can add a bit more to this. I can make it even more accessible. So I did a 100-day program with people. So I went through just 20 minutes a day. I think it must have done enough time. And then when I was training with one of my teachers, he goes, one of his students was quite a successful businessman, and he goes, I only have 20 minutes, that's all. And my teacher goes, okay, if that's all you've got, let's do this. So to do one Neigong exercise for 20 minutes, pretty much non-stop, that's hard work. So like there's a lot of transformation that can happen in that 20-minute time frame. So I'm going to how can I make it the 25 lessons of Kung Fu in a way that people transform a lot in that 20 minutes, and I can give lots of guidance, and pretty much people just have to follow the 20-minute class. And the only thing that could make it easier if I did the training for you, and by some alchemical power transmit everything I just got to you. Okay. So the 100 days of Kung Fu, that transformation series, is pretty much the 25 lessons of Kung Fu done over 25 days, broken down even more, and also 6 other additional parts added to do with elbow Kung Fu, essentially.
Your elbow material is
really good. Thank you. Yeah, I really want to get that stuff out. So that was that. Then the third part is the 45 days of Jumjong training. So that's all one bundle, all one package. So that in that 45 days, so I'm currently building another 45 days for people at the moment.
With that Jumjong, let's talk about that a little bit, because for anyone who's been in the internal martial arts or martial arts, traditional martial arts, standing practice has always been, look at each one and things like that. There's always been like, the source of power. And I know for years I was always trying to find out what's going on. Is it the qua? Is it dung? Uprising power? Is it rooting? Is it rootless? Is it spinal? What's going on?
So that 45 days, that's also for beginners and people who are doing training for a long time as well. So because the thing with foundation training or basics within Neigong training, it doesn't mean beginners. So it just means it's the foundation or the like a root practice. So it's where you start, and then to get better skills, you do that practice. And when you've got really good skills, how you get better, you keep doing that practice. So it just means foundation. So it's where people start. And that can be broken down, to make it more clear. But essentially, we're not breaking down the exercise to distort what it's meant to do. because things functioning as a whole is the best way to go, but things need to be broken down for a brief time to get the concept, and then it all layers back together. So that 45 days, I take people from the Wuji posture, so arms by the sides, all the standing, basic standing cues or layers of standing cues, so the body can gradually integrate what's happening, open up different channels and that sort of stuff, and get, make sure the physical force is going through the body properly. And then it gradually moves into the five postures from the Yitran, the healing part of the healing postures from Yitran. So that's when people went to see some of the masters there. The people had health issues that no doctor could help anymore, and not even Chinese medicine could help anymore. So they said, go see this guy, and then he would teach them these five postures, and they would get major results. Number one was because the motivation was strong. No one can help me. They've got that vibe. No one can help me. I better train my ass off with this then. So of course, it accesses a different part. It allows spirit to access into the physical body, and that can have a massive healing effect on people. So you're healing the organs, you're healing the energy channels, and getting things that are in disharmony to create harmony again. So there's a lot of depth in that practice. So that five postures, it builds up to that about halfway through, and then that's taught. Then it starts doing some movement practice side to side. So it came more from Feng Tzu Chan's way of doing the standing practice. He's got this sort of swaying motion. It's a very, very nice feeling. It's like rocking a baby to sleep. It's so soothing for the nervous system. And the mind is always tracking what the center of mass is doing all the time. So there's a building of what where that is in the brain and the consciousness. So that's within there. And then all the torus breathing stuff that I do from sacred geometry, that's in there. So pretty much most Qigong things you see that the arms come up, pour down, arms come up, pour down. You're running energy through the central channel, you're running it through the physical body in a gross way. And then you're circulating it out through the feet in the torus, all directions, back in through the top.
The torus breathing is sort of a nice, clean way of explaining many traditional methods of Qigong, right?
It's huge. All self-sustaining systems running off a torus field. So of course Qigong's using that like crazy. And the application of that, you can connect to other places on the earth. I do it sometimes as if I'm standing at the gateway of Shaolin Temple, and I'm pulling in all the vibe of Shaolin Temple before I do Shaolin boxing. And it's like there's definitely a different thing that happens. You're gravitating.
Well, we need to hear more about that at some point, Chris. Yeah.
So you're gravitating ancient masters. You're pulling in the energy messaging
like
from the system.
Invocation almost of place, quality.
Yeah. So it's all non-local, so you can work with that. Depends if you have the energy, skill, and openness for that. So that's what we're opening in practice. So the torus is huge for that. So that's in the course. And then gradually builds up to Sun-Ti. Then it goes into Sun-Ti with one leg.
I love Sun-Ti.
So
before we move on past Sun-Ti, tell because Sun-Ti is almost like a mystery again. Okay, we're in Sun-Ti, and it's like you hear Sun Lutang saying, well, this was the source of power, and and then you look at Xingyi people online and you go, really?
So
what are you cultivating in the Sun-Ti?
Xingyi's meant to have power. My teacher was very much that. Xingyi's meant to have power. So if you're seeing Xingyi and you're not seeing power, I don't know what's happening there. So sometimes the teacher doesn't want to show their power, and I can understand why. So are they just not understanding? They have a health issue and they don't want to release power to affect the kidney energy they're building. But Xingyi should have power. So the Sun-Ti is the roots of the power. And you need the movement practice, of course, but in terms of something that's really building, loading a massive spring in the body, and an intuitive spring too that you don't have to think about. So the body moves instinctively and reflexively in a way where it's sitting in the quiet, connected to the root of the ground all the time. There's a spring in the legs. The legs can move fast, can jump. The central spring of the body, that's there, so that the spine can really spring load really well. The arms are connected to the spine. You can absorb force in, can spring it back out. Something that opens the central channel and then gets the dantian building. And then when you get those two things going, all channels in the body can open. So the Sun T means Trinity posture, which means heaven, earth, man. So you're uniting everything. Head, hands, feet. So there's a coordination there. When I do Sun T, of course, the tongue's up. Anyone doing, if you don't know that, if you do practice Qigong and you don't know to keep your tongue up on the palate, it's okay for a while, but after a while, if you get really big energy building, you can get major problems. So make sure you have your tongue up. So if you say le, like in French, le, where your tongue touches, that's the acupuncture point to have it up. There's 3 different points to have it in the upper palate, but that's the main one to have it in. So you're linking the Ren channel, the conception vessel, and the Du channel. So you're linking them so the energy can circulate and not go up and get pulled in your head and cause major issues. So there's like a switch, so it allows the energy to flow. So the central channel can flow better, build energy properly, circulate energy properly within a static position. So when I practice, the tongue's up, I feel that link to the Jing Well points, so the fingertips, the toes. So there's all a direct link with that sort of stuff. So when the physical body coordinates well, even in stillness, the energy field, there's something that coordinates in the energy field. You feel something link and connect, and I guess electrically connect. So that's the Sun T. So it's martial Qigong, and that builds power that you need for positions in fighting that way. So it links in with push hands, links in with form practice, freestyle practice, pad work. It's the basis of power in Chinese internal martial arts. Yeah, it's the same in Bagua, Shingi. Those practices, that it's the same body posture, from my understanding.
Single palm is pretty much just off.
Totally. Yeah. So if you're good at Sun T, then you start learning Bagua. There's just a spiral that goes in it. That's my understanding. I've done a little bit of Bagua, not a huge amount, but a little bit. But that's what I felt. But I could be wrong too, as someone who hasn't done that much Bagua.
Well, there's so many different versions out there, and whatever you put up, there's always going to be another master that says, "Oh, but you don't know the secret."
That's one of the first things. The guy I trained with for years, he trained in Japan and China for a long time too. He said, when you start putting your stuff out, Chris, the first thing you'll get is that people will say you're wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Exactly. So, but I have to say, there's not many people that are putting out the internal arts in such a way where they look functional and athletic and actually health giving, because they're always connected to health. But sadly, many of the practitioners you see, like you say, maybe they're just preserving the Jing, they're just working on those kidneys and go, well, I'm not going to waste it. But the vessel doesn't look great in many cases.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of masters with leaky gut and dysbiosis. That's not healthy. Not healthy for your brain.
If we read the classics, it should be sort of shining through the eyes and that presence. So from so is that so right now is that the most recent one? You said 5 courses, so we'll start. So the 25 lessons, the 100 days, the Jiangzhong, and then the Sun T, is it within that one as well?
Yeah, the Sun T is within that course bundle, within the 45 days. I teach all the force testing for that too, so people pushing on you, so you make sure the force go in the right place. So you can produce short force, even with the arm fully straight. You can still produce short force. That's like, is less than 1 inch power. It's like the already a point of contact can make the power go in. So the Sun T is huge for teaching that. Then I teach the reverse Sun T. So that's people. You don't even see that on YouTube. So I teach that openly, reverse Sun T, and that was a big focus my teacher made for maybe the last 15 years of the training he did with the students, my group. The reverse Sun T, then even Sun T with the front foot hovering off the ground. You don't see that anywhere on YouTube.
I saw something like that in London before. That was interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it's those postures with the one leg, only one footed, and they're bloody hard. They're really hard, especially to keep the chi sunk. the body relax. Like you're lucky to last 30 seconds when you first start.
Yeah, properly.
Yeah, so that's in there too. Some Dantian Gong, that's in there as well. So there's a lot inside that, and it marries up totally well with the whole entire bundle. So I've got, if the students who get the packages, if they want more help, they got a lot of access to me. So one of my students, he goes, "Oh, Chris, can you? I want to do it." He's had a lot of Jumjong practice and some different systems of practice, like the Ermei and all that sort of stuff. He's had practice with that, and he said, I said, "This is how you can tweak it to get more power, more energy coming through the standing practice. So start doing this exercise." And he goes, within the first session, there's more energy than ever coming in through the postures. It's like, yeah, that's I know. And then what he would do he'd do the 45 days class, so that's about 20 minutes, and then straight after he would do the 100 days class, 20 minutes, so only 40-minute practice. And he goes, the level of energy coming through, people will say that my aura feels magnetic. That's what he was saying. And people say, I can see your aura. People were saying, like, his friends, and the energy coming through, power increased, and that was all within 100 days. And
just shows you when you've got the right material and nothing held back, it just works.
Yeah. So I was giving him extra stuff as well, and more advanced work on the torus field. The torus field also helps, so he can do torus field within Sun T. That's my own intuitive. No one's taught me that. That's my own intuitive thing. That's one of my main practices these days. It allows you to connect to the quantum field very strong. Work on stuff directly with your life and goals, and allowing energy that might be stagnating anywhere in stillness practice. Jumjong practice can make energy stagnate. So you need to do things that keep the energy moving. At a certain point, you just do a movement practice, so that that torus field going downward torus field, upward torus field, both ways torus field at the same time. So I taught him that too, and that just really accelerated his practice too. So it's wonderful.
Well,
this stuff works.
It really does. I mean, that actually brings us on to what we said before we came on air, is that, and the reason I'm doing all this today for anyone that's listening, this material is not common. It really isn't. As I keep saying, I'm in Asia, and I've spent the last 20 years trying to find all this stuff. And though you can find bits here and bits there, and I found some very good people, even with those good people, it's going to take 15 years of those people, because there's certain things I've got to jump over. There's traditional things, there's cultural things.
Yeah.
So here with Chris, you've got something basically given. It's given. All the hard work's done. You just got to put the effort in. But something we spoke about before was about how this connects to meditation work as well. So internal work, meditation work, and how things can go right, and also how things can go wrong. So do you want to talk about some of those things that can go wrong, and how those things could be remedied as well?
Yeah, for sure. I'll just quickly finish the list. So the second bundle is the mastering Tai. That's right. Just for people who are hanging on, what's the fourth and fifth one? So the second bundle is my fourth and fifth courses. So it's mastering Tai Chi fundamentals with Chris, and then the link to that. When you get that course, you also get the second, the fifth course, which is the Tai Chi walking and prehab exercises. So I can talk more about that later. But people who are doing Tai Chi for a long time might hear Tai Chi walking, because there's all this AI stuff out now for Tai Chi walking. And a guy with abs, old man, you lose all this weight
everywhere.
in 30 days and stuff. you know that AI stuff, it come out just after I released my Tai Chi walking course. I feel like I was the one who generated that. Of course, a lot of people hate it, and I understand. My course is not linked to that sort of stuff. So I teach 6 methods, traditional methods of Tai Chi walking, that I learnt over the years. And the prehab then is how to get your body biomechanically moving well, so you don't cause issues in your knees and that sort of stuff. So the body's prepared well to get a deep Kungfu from Tai Chi walking. And then the course itself is all the other skills to do with arm movements and form work and that sort of stuff too. So that's just that part. So we can talk more about that. But so that's the 5 courses. So in terms of like, I love meditation. Meditation's one of the deepest things in my heart, that kind of thing. So I'm very spiritually driven in my life. Um, I fix most things in my life through spiritual means, and that's just how I'm wired. Um, but I've had issues with I remember my teacher saying, when you first start meditation practice, you can do some things wrong, and it makes no difference because you have no level. There's no energy, there's no juice in the system yet. But then it's usually when you're at middle level of your practice, that's when issues can come. So you've got something happening. Some channels are opening or trying to open. There's some energy there that when you send your intention somewhere, so there's a change that happens in your physiology, and that's when problems can happen. The biggest problem when people first practice is it's to do with their personality, it's to do with their constitution, and it's you drain the water from the system. So the fire and water are huge in Neigong practice. So the fire's in the heart, the water's in the kidneys, in the dantian area. So the first part of practice in all qigong is to get the energy down. So you create the pathway downwards. So it means that because energy rises very easy, you just have to get really excited about something. Anxiety is a sense of energy up. Angry, and you get so angry, you get that hot head or uneven shoulders from the liver yang rising, that sort of stuff. So energy rises very easy. So it naturally does that. It's a skill to get energy back down again. So the first part of Jamdron practice, Qigong practice, is to get the energy about to move down, the body about to relax, can deeply relax. So there's a sense of sinking downwards towards the feet. That's the first one. So a lot of problems that people can get in meditation practice is just being good at that part, the first one. Then by doing that, the energy gradually consolidates in the dantian. So you feel something happen there. So there might be a fullness there, and something happening. Feels like there's something condensing there. There's an electromagnetic field that builds in that area. You might see it through phosphenes on the eyes. So when you close your eyes, you see colours. That's called phosphenes. So in neuro brain physiology, that's the term they use, phosphenes. So even closing your eyes, like anyone can do this. Don't push too hard, but if you push on your eyeball, you can see shapes and images and stuff. So that's the phosphenes. But in terms of Neigong training, it starts to awaken the inner light inside. So if you've got if you're naturally visual, you'll find clairvoyance will start to open quite fast. So you can see inside the body at a certain point. And the phosphenes is usually the first thing that happens. So generally starts as when you've got your eyes closed. People, right now I'm in a place with light. So I see a purpley red film on my light, on my back of my eyelids. It's just the light coming through the skin. But when the phosphenes kick off, I'll see different colours. So the colours will shift. I've had experiences sometimes where there's just a white light, and it's so bright as if someone's shining a light in my face. And I'm like, is there someone shining a light? So I open my eyes, and it's just a normal day or nighttime even, and it's just this bright white light, and that's the inner light awakening. So when the dantian is stimulating, that light can start to show up. So it just means there's something happening in the dantian. So the light in the eyes is just an effect. And if you focus too much on the effect, you can definitely make it shift. You can make the energy stronger in that area. You can make it change color. You can make it shift, pulsate, all sorts of stuff, generate images and things. But if you focus on it too much, eventually it either starts to make you destabilized in your mental state, in your mood, or the effect just goes away, because it's being generated by the practice of energy moving downwards and going into the dantian. That's what the cause is, and the visual effect is the effect. So we've got to make sure you're focusing on the cause. So that's the first part. Get the dantian full, they say. So energy coming down, energy filling the dantian. What's associated with that? You're affecting the vagus nerve immensely for the good parts of the vagus nerve. So the ventral vagal tone is essentially the front part of the vagus nerve. It's the part of you to do with the nervous system kicking into healing. I'm safe. I want to social. I don't want to isolate. I feel really good. I feel well. I feel so calm, like so deeply calm. And then like life's good as there's that kind of feeling as that ventral vagal tones being expressed more. Dantian's filling, all sorts of energy experiences can happen, but we want to get that first part. So you're supporting the water. That's what it is. So you're supporting the jing of the kidneys, the water of the body. As the water builds more, it starts to steam is the idea. Just like water boiling, it starts to steam and energy will naturally rise. So it'll start to influence the middle dantian here, affecting your personality, emotions, spirit, that kind of stuff. Then it affects into the shen, into the consciousness. But the first part is to get the dantian strong. So there's a very easy, when you first start Qigong practice, you hear what people are experiencing in their practice and it's like, sounds amazing. You can get so much happening by focusing on the dantian in the head. People get a lot of experience happen with that. Things happening in the heart, you get a lot of interesting experiences, but they're not sustainable and they can really throw you off. The worst part is causing psychological issues. So you need to get the dantian strong first, and as that strengthens, it already starts to affect these centers in a very natural way. So if you're focusing too much in the head or here, you can drain the water from the system, and it becomes like you've got a pot on the stove that should have lots of water. That when the fire's burning, boiling the water so something can happen, so you can put stuff in and transform things. Essentially, there's no more water. You've just burnt all the water out, and you're now running. You're burning an empty vessel, and it's still creating fire and warming things where there's no water, and that's a major, major issue.
Is that the sort of thing that goes into sort of kidney depletion or jing depletion?
Big time, yeah. And Kundalini syndrome. That's one of the main things with Kundalini syndrome. There's just there's no more fire in the system, and there's no more water in the system. Yeah, so the big problem. Yeah, so that's the first thing. The first thing they teach in Qigong is to get the energy to the dantian energy sink.
Well, you say I think the first thing a good teacher of Qigong teaches, because there's
sure, yeah, yes, good point. Yeah,
because there's a lot of Qigong where you won't hear 10% of what you just said.
Yeah, and I know this from experience. I had Kundalini syndrome. I studied Kundalini for 17 years before I started going into that sort of work and doing the practices, and it was amazing. The experience I had, it was like the ears, like the chakras in the ears. I was like definite energy coming out of the ears, constantly wearing a halo around the head, like the feeling of wearing a hat. When I meditate, seeing cosmic keys, seeing snakes, seeing dead relatives in dreams, and hearing celestial music, doing practice and then falling asleep, and just as like there's movement inside the Kundalini rising. But I haven't had a full awakening, but there's things that the Kundalini is awakening for me. But I had major issues with that at some point, and it was my own stupidity, my own wrongdoing of that practice. So I had a teacher come who had a big awakening, and 40 people in the congregation were in bliss when she had a full Kundalini awakening, and she was known for her power, and especially with Shaktipat. And I was doing a 100-day process for Kundalini awakening, and I'd done a lot of foundation practice before. My health wasn't good. I'd done the practice. Intuition said, do the practices, it'll make your health better. Within about 20 days, my health was all back. And I know now I wasn't feeling the dantian properly. Now I wasn't focusing on that too much. I was focusing on up too much. The energy is going up. It needs to better circulate properly and also have a sense of coming down. So she said, she offered, like it was day 85, and I go, I need someone with a resonance to help the Kundalini awaken. So I'll do her seminar. Had crazy things happening there, just such a strong feeling of energy. And then she goes, anyone, would you like a blessing? So essentially a Shaktipat. She put her hand on my head, and I tried to awaken the Kundalini at that time. And I was expecting to see light, like so much light. All I saw was darkness, and my mind goes, there's something's not right here. And then within days, I could feel there's an energy leak that I couldn't fix. I couldn't find where the energy leak was. If I did any kind of energy practice, it would instantly give me a headache and give me nausea. And I felt like I was dying. It's like the energy like I couldn't find. And then so first of all, the kidneys are affected, so you start feeling really scared, feel really fearful of my life. So that's the kidney energy being unbalanced. And then the liver's affected. I felt really stagnant, depression set in real deep. And I was very lucky. One of my Qigong teachers, she looked at me and goes, "What's wrong with you? Your energy's sick. I can see your energy is sick. What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing this practice." And as soon as I showed one part of it, she's like, "Stop doing that right now. That's the problem." Um, yeah, so she taught me the Zineng Qigong, self-healing Qigong. I highly rate that Qigong system. Taught me that, and I knew if you have Kundalini syndrome, you either go see a really good Chinese medicine practitioner or an Ayurvedic medicine practitioner. So when I saw Chinese medicine, within one session, within the first session, or within the first 5 minutes, he goes, "Oh, this is a Shen issue." And I was like, "Yeah, I was doing a Shen Gong practice." And this is, I should add right now, this is all my own stupidity. This here, not listening to instructions and that sort of stuff. But I have a lot of experience in this area and how to stop things happening and how to help things when things are going wrong. So I went and got the Chinese medicine. He goes, "A Shen issue." I felt the energy when he put the needles in. The energy is like doing this up my spine, just balancing things out. I had my body temperature decreased by about 1 or 2 degrees after that first experience. My body would just vibrate, and I'd focus on then opening chakras, and the vibration would go away. So it's very much like Kundalini stuff happening. And within 6 weeks, that was settled. But then I learned the Qigong that she taught me. And within that first session, my body was just going, boom, boom, boom. Just as the channels are reopening again, because there was such a blockage, it just was triggering things to the nervous system, I guess, to open things
Realigning.
back up again. And then within 3 days of that, much, much better. And then I just kept doing that practice. And within 3 months of that. But it took me 10 years to get over that stupidity of that moment. But I learned a lot. I had chronic fatigue for 2 years from it and all sorts of stuff. But I know better now. So in my courses,
Well,
I
like you
don't
say,
teach
I
things.
mean,
Yeah.
in the position you're in, it's kind of like a harsh apprenticeship,
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know, yeah,
yeah.
you've got the
And
experience to guide.
yeah. So within I'm deeply involved in my Buddhist practice now, my Dharma practice. So I practice sadhana quite a lot now, and I understand more of what that's about now, and that prevents a lot of issues coming. But I remember my Rinpoche, I didn't talk to him directly about that, but I was telling him something that was happening in my practice, and he said, as I was talking, he goes, "Oh, not enough merit." Not enough merit. So for even spiritual things like that to happen, because that's a spiritual problem, that Kundalini syndrome. It's there's a merit. I need to build more merit inside my spiritual practice, so the merit building itself can alleviate and prevent those sort of problems from coming.
That's interesting.
So
I've heard that before. Sort of Dharma as energy work. I mean, because Vajrayana is energy work, but Dharma as energy work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I mean, what are you doing? Mahayana, Vajrayana?
Yeah, the Vajrayana practice. Yeah, been initiated into that for the last 20 years, and there's just so much kicking off now. It helps support the Kundalini practice. Like I'm not doing direct Kundalini work. I allow the grace of it to come through now. That was my problem. So impatience. So I just do the practice as it is, and I can understand more of why they do preliminary parts of the practice, building the merit field, and then the mantras and the dissolving into emptiness and the building as a deity and connecting into that aspect of self and non-self, and then the dissolution, just where everything that you built is just dissolving, just like a death process. So that builds something very solid inside the spirit. So that merit part is like part of building merit is like is doing good things, practicing generosity.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
still there?
Yep,
Yeah,
still
yeah.
here.
Yeah, no, it just tweaked on my side here. Yeah, so doing meritorious things, the good things, good work in the world, generosity, dedicating merits of good work to the enlightenment of all beings, have that bodhicitta idea, that idea of the highest expression of what a human consciousness can be is an enlightened space, and building and understanding what that is, building in that deep compassion, the deep love for all beings. That's all highly meritorious things, and there's a very, very strong vibration linked to that thing. So that in itself can pull you towards enlightenment. Like the lineage practices, they've got their own, especially when it's linked with enlightened beings, liberated beings. It's got its own Dharma protectors. So when you're in a lineage, problems can come when you start building a lot of light, and in very subtle issues, you start drawing different kinds of beings to you, like disconnect beings. So the Dharma protectors are like that. They deal with that. We don't even know. You're just doing your practice. You're just building that heart field of love, of compassion. I invite all beings, including the ones I have issues with, invite them. There's a huge heart space in that, and a lot of beings that to do with who are to do with arrogance or pride and hatred and stuff like that. That they don't connect to you. They can't get into your energy field because of that space. So building more merit is a huge way of increasing, I guess, getting massive spiritual success in your practice, and preventing spiritual issues and Kundalini syndrome and that sort of stuff. It's a big part of it. The energetics of it make it a big thing. So I know from
I think
whatever
that's
my
really important to say,
yeah
because it's like,
yeah
it's not, it is mechanical. It can be
yeah
mechanical, but certainly there's this other side to it that, like you say, the resonance, that enlightened mind
yeah
that
yeah yeah.
can really smooth things out for good reason.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. I'm glad you mentioned that. So there's definitely, mechanics of energy work and timing, like a recipe. Like the sadhana practice is the recipe itself. It's like if you're making a really good, meal. If you put the meat in, put everything in, and you haven't turned the burner on yet, it's not going to work. If you
Yeah.
put the oil in the last thing when you're meant to be the first thing, is not going to come out right. So that's the idea of a sadhana practice, is be good in the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end, and a thing that builds. And there's quite a lot of wisdom inside those practices, that they can strengthen parts inside that have withered away or become damaged from life and that sort of stuff, and strengthen those positive aspects. There's a lot of special things in that. Um, yeah, but I guess myself, I've had a propensity from whatever karma in previous lives, where
Yeah.
there will be spiritual issues if I don't do things a certain way. So I've learned to make sure my practice is really meritorious, do good works. I do a lot of things that people don't know about in terms of helping people and that sort of stuff. But and anyone doing Dharma practice does that. And I dedicate the good merit of that to all beings.
Yeah.
So everyone can be helped. Like the world needs that right now. And even just
Certainly
walking your own path. Yeah, the best thing you can do is just becoming fully who you're meant to be. Bring what's in
Yeah.
your higher self into your heart, into your life, and walk it in your life. And the warring in the world, you look at where is the war inside me, and you unlock that, completely understand that, and unlock that. I accept there's a part inside me that's extremely violent. I accept that inside me. I accept this part that's so connected with Mars energy and wants to war and have conflict. But I understand too the positive side is about boundaries, helping me direct powerful fire energy in the direction of integrity, hopefully, and not in areas where it's just going to create more dysfunction. So it's honoring those energies and really understanding what is that part, accepting it's there, unlocking it, get the positive part of it, and not buy into the negative part of it all the time. So when you unlock that inside yourself, it affects the consciousness of the whole planet. So that's we all need to do that. I feel, and
Absolutely.
that's our way we can help. Otherwise, you just go, the war over here. It's like you're just sending your own worry into that
Yeah.
place. It's like, don't send worry, because a lot of people, for love equals worried for a lot of people. Love equals abuse for some people. And it's like, if you send love there, you're just sending your worry. Don't send the worry. So it's like the energetics can be so nuanced.
There's such subtleties to it. But Chris, we're coming up on the 50 minutes. I want to say it's really inspiring hearing you talk, and it's lovely to hear more of this side of your journey as well. So that's why I really wanted to have you on. I felt like, well, we need to have Chris back on, because it's like, I think many people as well, maybe you don't know, have been doing your previous course that you put on Perseus for shoulder issues, for neck issues, for back issues.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So you've helped a lot of people just by putting that on Perseus. So thank you so much.
Well, wonderful. I'm glad to hear this. Glad it helps.
That's brilliant. No, thank you. I mean, let's just refresh before we go. We've got about 1 or 2 minutes left on the timer. Just refresh before we go where people can find you, how you can help them in terms of martial, Qigong, healing, or all of the things you offer.
Yeah. So if you look me up on Google, just Chris Radnedge, Tai Chi Healing Arts, you'll come to the Kajabi link for my courses. So if you want to learn from me, get the course. Start going through it and contact me. So contact me through Facebook Messenger, just under Chris Radnedge. Send me a message and I'll contact you that way. restoremymuscles@gmail.com. You can contact me through email that way as well. That's the main ways at the moment. Yeah, and I'm on
okay, yeah, we're about 20 seconds out. So
yeah, sure.
Chris, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
I love your course. I've got lots of training, but I love your course. Really in depth. Recommend it to everyone. You're also over on the Perseus community every now and again, popping in there.
Yeah.
So anyone who's in the free course, Chris is over there. But at that point, I've got about 10 seconds. Sorry, guys, we're on a time limit today.
Thank you.
So I'll say thank you to Chris. Thank you all, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Great. And all the best in your practice, James, and everyone else.
Well, thank you, and thank you. Yeah, let's all hope we can sort of take some of those points that Chris said today into our practice and keep growing in the right way and not in the troublesome way. And I'll end the recording right there. Stay on the line, Chris.